There is a tragic comedy here, but please don't laugh. I usually meet people and they tell me, no, you are not a witness in the Ouko assassination. And then I ask, why or how? Say, but all of Ouko's witnesses are dead. So, but you see, in the book of Genesis, in the book of Genesis, uh, Cain killed his brother. There was no witness, isn't it? But the truth came. So if you kill somebody in cold blood, his blood will haunt you for the rest of your life. I believe that. So you cannot hide evidence forever. This one I wanted to talk about the deaths of witnesses. First of all, it is now 34 years since Ouko died. And for that time, for anybody to be in authority, some of us we were young from 6 people who masomo mingi who were getting access to information. But most of the people were elderly. So if somebody was 40 years or 45 years, 35 years ago, somebody was 45, he's 80. So there is the first aspect where those who were witnesses or all those who dealt in Ouko's assassination died a natural cause, either through aging, sickness, and so on. There are others, and I talked to Parliamentary Select Committee on Ouko and insisted that both Selina Were and Shikuku were not dead. And I said, and I insisted, that should they have died, then it will be discovered that they died much, much later, and their deaths had nothing to do because everybody will die. Eh? Don't wait for some of us to die and say, he has been killed because I can die of suicide, I can die road accident, but definitely I will die. So I talked of that, and even up to today, I believe that Shikuku may be alive, or if he died in a death that is not related to the fact that he was a witness. And I think he ran away to a neighboring country, Uganda, maybe changed even his identification. It is me saying that, you see, I sat down with those MPs and the detectives, and they were insisting that they went to Selina Were's home and found a grave which her name showing the day she died. And I asked them, did you open the grave to make sure that not a banana husk has been planted? So they made the further investigations, and when they made further investigations, they found her, and she came and gave evidence. Although she later died, I think she died a natural death. But funny thing, even the money she used, she used her own money to board an Akamba, and she had 2 or 4 so people who accompanied her. Parliament never paid her. As I speak today, I've never signed any voucher for whatever I did. I was to be paid. I was to be reimbursed expenses, and I was also to, like the day you give evidence. See, that day you are supposed to be in your farm. Anybody who mentioned Biwott negatively in the Ouko investigation was mistreated by parliamentary staff. That one I can say. Even though Kibaki was the president then, but Biwott still could call the shots. I was not paid anything. Selina Were's expenses were reimbursed by, I'm forgetting the MP for Kisumu, Gorsungu. Gorsungu reimbursed her money from his pocket. And anything I got there was Gorsungu's pocket. There is no voucher I was given. I spent I spent money on transport. I spent time in lodgings, and up to this time, as I'm telling you, I've never paid those lodgings. They saw me on TV and I said when I'll be paid. Later we met and said, oh, because you are untouchable nowadays, you have decided not to pay me. Mungu ataona. So people died, natural death. There is Inspector Achesa Litabadia. Achesa Litabadia was the first person, the traffic officer who was there, and he was chased away by a corporal from Special Branch. Achesa Litabadia, they followed him later and blew him up with total gas 6 kg Meko. There is else who. So there are three types of dying, where people die because of natural cases. There is also Oyugi. Oyugi died because of stress. He died because of stress. You know, if you, tension and whatever, and you have high blood pressure. But Moi did not allow him to be treated abroad, because after treatment he would go to exile. But when it reached a place where the president was told the man can die on the runway, that is when he was given permission to be treated abroad. And when he was being wheeled into the plane, he said the following. He said that whatever I did, it was under instructions, and it was not on my own. And then he went and died abroad. Inspector Ngaro Wekes and Inspector Ngaro Kinyanjui died 4 or 5 years ago, a natural death, old age. And he, you know, you may be staying with somebody, neighboring without knowing. I didn't know that he was from Limuru. And during his funeral, I didn't attend because I didn't have fare. But I saw the eulogy, I saw the funeral announcement on the Daily Nation. At no place was he mentioned. Nobody mentioned that he ever worked for the police. Nobody ever mentioned that he ever worked for Special Branch. Inspector Wekesa, who was in State House that time, from Misihu, you know, Gorsungu did, okay, I understand. I'm an intelligence officer, because talking of things which are scripted, and that is why if you ask media houses, I don't like discussing what we are going to say. But I only tell them, kindly understand that I may reach somewhere and not talk something, because it may be still of relevance today. So just that. But we never have a pre-recording conference. Because when you have a pre-recording conference, you plan on what to say. Me, I usually like being surprised by questions so that they come out naturally. But this thing about also being surprised with a question, also it's a good cross-examination. It is a good cross-examination. So when I was being interviewed, Gorsungu came and then talked about who are the two officers, and then I said the two officers, although I was not even supposed. And you know, it was on live TV. Then I decided one time to go to Misihu. I'm grateful to Gorsungu facilitated the financing for me to go to Misihu, to go and talk to Wekesa and apologize for mentioning him. When I went to Misihu, I was shown his grave, and I apologized to his, he was a Bukusu and married a Taita lady. So I met the widow, and there was a daughter and there was a son, two of them. Uh, you know, watoto wanamea. Those are kids who are in school, and I found them, they were the same size with me. We met with the widow, and and as I was apologizing, she said, "No, we are the ones who are supposed to thank you, because Wekesa died in a very suspicious road accident." Now, how Wekesa died, Wekesa had been transferred. He was promoted to chief inspector and transferred to Lodwa. Hardly had he stayed in Lodwa for a few months, then again another transfer came that he was leaving Lodwa. Now, why do you transfer somebody from Nakuru to Lodwa, and then from Lodwa to Kajiado? So he was transferred to Kajiado, and in the vehicle that some stories tunakata because of time. So an accident happened at a place called Marich Pass, and it was a minor accident, and the vehicle rolled, Land Cruiser rolled, and nobody was hurt. In fact, people walked out of the vehicle, but he died. Who else again who was a witness? Um, so you find that most of these deaths are three ways. There is one way where somebody dies because of natural causes, old age, sickness, road accidents. Now, this road accident, I'm not talking of Wekesa road accident, but we travel, we travel. Accidents do happen. Those people who are now, those people who died yesterday on road accident were not witnesses in Ouko case. So we may also die in a genuine road accident, but most of them died of natural causes, road accident, sickness, and old age. And also, I was about to pen off when I remembered Biwot. Biwot is the one who died. From the time when Ouko died, there was, Lua are funny. They placed something in somebody's coat, and he's buried with that, and then hizo vitu zikioza, we maisha yako imeoza. Moi led a terrible life from that time on, just like Jomo Kenyatta had led a terrible life after JM's death. Biwot led a very terrible life, he used to live a paranoid life, always suspecting himself. That one is covered in a tape that talks about Biwot. And even his death is related to stress-related things. That one, viewers, is for today.